South Africa and Palestine's relationship can be traced back to former President Nelson Mandela and former Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat. The ANC has always called for a two-state solution to resolve the conflict and grant Palestine its independence. The DA says it agrees with the stance, but one analyst says there is a perception of insensitivity around Palestine by the party. With a large Muslim and pro-Palestine community in South Africa, could this impact how people vote?
In terms of how the ANC has responded to the Gaza issue now, in relation to other times, is that it has been a lot more forthcoming, and it has been a lot more vocal, both domestically and internationally, which could mean that with a lot of mainly Muslim voters in the Western Cape as a whole, would sort of see that as a much more appropriate response to that issue than the DA.
Former DA MP Khaleb Kachalia resigned from the party earlier this year after being outspoken on the matter. At the time, the party rejected his claims, saying he had mischaracterized the party's position on the war in Gaza. But just because a line has been drawn between communities in South Africa, especially in the DA-run Western Cape, will this foreign policy outweigh domestic matters affecting citizens?
Again, it is a possibility. But at the same time, one needs to look at the anger towards the ANC at national level. So it's like things can balance itself out. I would say that it could be the first time that there's a foreign policy issue which has an impact on the vote. We would need research after the elections to actually get a proper sense of that.
The DA in the province conducted a poll which included the Israel-Palestine question.
Given that, if you take the noise away and you focus on the in-depth questions that were asked and the feedback, a very low percentage of residents, predominantly in the metro area, are actually massively concerned about the Palestine-Israel matter, given that every year within our own province, due to inadequate police resources, we lose young people die between 3,000 to 4,000 every year, which for them is a bigger issue. Yes, we do have apathy with what's happening between Palestine and Israel. The solution is quite clear, but once our community starts focusing on how does that relate to what's happening in our country?
Meanwhile, Professor Africa says while the conflict in the Middle East is critical, South Africans find themselves in desperate times, and come Wednesday, they will have a tough decision to make. Abra Barbia, SABC News, Parliament.